just looking at the whole issue of integration and secularism in France today, a lot of Muslims do feel under the attack right now. They feel besieged. The French state has banned the headscarf in school and the face veil in public. French Prime Minister Manuel Valls wants to ban the headscarf in universities. He's defended the bikini ban on French beaches, despite a court calling it a violation of basic freedoms. Former French President Sarkozy once said that halal meat is the biggest issue facing France. You can understand why so many of your Muslim fellow citizens in France do feel targeted as a minority community.
First, you have to understand that we are facing a global testing. You know, a minority of the French Muslims are testing us because, you know, for instance, you know, you have people coming to us and saying, you know, the mother saying, my daughter shouldn't go to the gym because, you know, I'm a Muslim. You have the husband saying, my wife shouldn't have a male doctor. You have women coming saying, we want to have women only days in the swimming pool, and so on and so on. So
it's all Muslims provoking the French state.
No,
there's no anti-Muslim feeling or bigotry.
Please. So I said we have on one side really a lot of tests, and the question which is to us, like it is to a lot of countries, is where to put the line. What are we accepting or not accepting?
And many argue France has put the line in the wrong place.
Really, that's a democratic debate that among the French we have. You know, really, that's a democratic debate. That's the fact. On the top of that, we have to face this debate in an atmospherics, I think, first one that you know very well, which is the populist atmospherics. And the second fact is that 250 French have been killed on behalf of radical Islam. So it's obvious that the debate is a very difficult debate.
But with respect, the people who were killed tragically were killed well after you had banned headscarves in school and face veils in public. I'm not sure you can draw that link that clearly. Really, it's interesting. You know, really, in the beginning of the 20th century, you know, there were people who wanted to ban the French Roman Catholic priest from wearing cassocks. Yes.
So it means that there is also a real debate about religion in France. Okay. The French, whatever, Catholics or not Catholics, don't want to see religion in the public space.
That's undeniable. But in addition to that, is there not a clear anti-Muslim sentiment as well?
There is a question that we have a real debate about what we should accept. And I think it's a debate because the questions which are raised by some Muslims are quite regressive as the status of women. But of course there is an element of Islamophobia. Of course we have.
Okay.
You know, really we have our Trump in France. We have 250 French killed. There is also an element, a poisoned atmospherics, and the French authorities are trying to really cool that down.
You say the French authorities are trying to cool that down. It's not just Marine Le Pen and the far right. There are mainstream French politicians who've made some outrageous statements. The president of France, Sarkozy, at the time, said halal issue is the #1 issue facing France. I'm sure you don't think that's the case. You've had Laurence Rossignol, minister in government, saying there are women who choose to wear the hijab. There were American Negroes who were in favor of slavery. This is not far-right rhetoric. This is mainstream rhetoric.
I think what Mr. Rossignol said, and I think it was a bit awkward the way she said it, it's the acceptance of oppression by the oppressed doesn't make the oppression less oppressive. And it's not because some Muslim women accept the status, the limited status that, you know, really...
Just to be clear, if a Muslim woman wears a headscarf, is she oppressed? In your view? She wears it out of choice for out of religious conviction? I think
that first, I think she has the right to do it in France. But secondly, I think, yes, it's a part of an oppression, a religious
She's oppression. Millions of Muslim women around the world who are wearing headscarf are oppressed without knowing it.
You know, yes.
Do you not find that a patronizing attitude slightly?
No. You know why? I'm going to explain
Please do.
It's really by doing it, you are sending the message that the woman's body is different from the man's body. That the woman is
That's a different debate about why they do it. You're saying she's oppressed.
Really, let me finish. It's sending the message that the women has either to be protected or you have to protect the men from the women. It's exactly what all the religions, all the patriarchal religions, including Christianity and Judaism and Islam, have been been saying for centuries. Our democracy is about the equality between men and women. But I do accept they can do it. You know, it's allowed to do it in France. But personally, I think it's oppression.
So if you're talking personally, let me ask you this. How did you feel over the summer when you saw that photo which went viral of a group of armed French male police officers on the beach forcing a Muslim woman to effectively disrobe in the name of secularism? A lot of people around the world were very disturbed, repulsed by that image. Were you?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. And actually, as you know...
Why? She's oppressed. According to you, you're saying
but
she's
really,
oppressed.
as I said, you know, really, she has the right. And we have a high court which is taking care of that. And the ban of burkini has not been upheld.
Do you know what happened to those French police officers? Were they investigated or
I
remanded?
don't know. No, I don't know.
Do you think they should be?
No, I think he had instructions from his local authorities to do it. I think the local authorities were the responsible.
With the support from your Prime Minister?
No, it's an opinion, you know, but at the end...
The French Prime Minister supports that.
He has expressed an opinion. But legally speaking, these regulations have been struck down.
How much do you think the very rigid, some would say very strict, draconian church-state split in France, laïcité, French secularism, has contributed to the radicalization of young French Muslims? A recent study co-authored by the ISIL expert Will McCants found that France's political culture, especially France's, quote, aggressive secularism, especially when combined with urban ghettos and high youth unemployment, makes, quote, he says, radicalism more appealing.
I think it's typically an American judging a foreign country, you know, from a high moral ground. You have to accept that the French are not going to be Americans on religion. We have a different cultural and social fabric.
It's very easy to blame the Americans, but it's not just Americans saying this. The former Justice Minister, Rachida Dati, says French politicians have propounded a definition of laïcité that wrongly seeks to exclude religion, especially Islam, from the public sphere. The former Housing Minister, Benoît Araud, says laïcité has morphed into secular totalitarianism. The top French political scientist, Dominique Moisy, has criticized the way in which laïcité has become the first religion of the Republic requiring obedience and belief. These are top French people. You're going to blame them for being American as well?
No, but it means that we have a real political debate.
Oh, come on.
The French
you
society,
just told me a moment ago, don't lecture Americans. I'm saying French people have said
yes, I don't lecture.
So
Americans don't lecture, but I'm speaking of the French.
Okay, so is Rachida Dati wrong when she says laïcité excludes religion wrongly?
We have a real political debate in France. I have said from the beginning...
I'm asking your view as the ambassador for the government. Is the former minister, Rachida Dati, wrong when she says French politicians have propounded a definition of laïcité that wrongly seeks to exclude religion from the public sphere? Is Benoît Araud wrong when he says laïcité has morphed into secular totalitarianism?
My country is a democracy. These people have the right to express their opinion.
Of course they have a right. I'm asking if they're correct.
And once they have expressed their opinion, you know, we have a parliament, and the parliament is taking the decision. You know, and as a representative of my government, you know, I will support the implementation of the laws voted by the parliament.
Okay, but
so if they are, we will have elections.
It's a very simple question. Has laïcité, is it being interpreted by French politicians to wrongly exclude religion from the public sphere? Is it morphing into secular totalitarianism? These are the warnings sounded by former ministers.
I disagree.
Are they right or wrong?
I disagree. Okay. I think that laïcité, you know, is actually the goal of laïcité is excluding religion from the public sphere. We consider that religion is a private thing, but it doesn't have to infringe on the public sphere. That's why in the French
it also
public
guarantees
school,
freedom of religion.
So in French public school, for instance, you know, the Jews can't wear a kippah, the Muslims can't wear a veil, and the Christians can't wear a great cross.
But you can eat fish on Fridays and have Christmas holidays. You're fine with that part of religion in school. Some say double standard.
No, it's not double standard at all. It's simply that the fish on Friday is a very good example of what we call in French the reasonable accommodation with religion. And what we have to do now...
So you do accommodate religion?
Of course.
Okay. A moment ago you were saying no religion.
No, reasonable accommodation with religion. So it means that not what is new for us. What is new? It's simply that we had been, a Christian countries for 2,000 years. Now we have a significant Muslim population. So we have to find the reasonable accommodation. For instance, you know, not serving in schools, not serving pork. You know, really, that's the type that we should do.
And but many mayors are refusing to do that.
And that's I think they are deadly wrong. Yeah, but it's not a lot. It's a few of them. So we have define, and it's an ongoing debate in a democratic society, which means that there will be mistakes, there will be backlash, there will be one,
Well, there's clearly a backlash when a poll in April for Le Figaro this year found almost 2/3 of French voters think Islam has become too visible in France, while half see the minority Muslim community in France as a threat to national identity. How do you tackle that level of Islamophobia? And surely you accept that feeds into radicalization.
And what would be the result of the polls in the US?
We're not here to talk about the US. You're not American, I'm not American. We're talking about France.
No, we are not talking about France only. We are
not
talking
in the playground.
We
you
are
can't
talking
respond with America.
I'm going to say not America. I could say the UK if you want, or Germany. What I say is all the Western societies
are all Islamophobic.
Are facing the same challenge. They were basically Christian societies, and now there is a significant Muslim population. So we have to find again how to accommodate.
You also have to condemn bigotry, don't you?
I think we have to accommodate these people
and condemn bigotry
while condemning bigotry and while also keeping our values, and especially the equality between men and women, which is at the core of our democracy.